Let's come here. Here.
This year, we've fed over 77,000 New Yorkers in need, and that has meant that everything we do has had to change, and the supply chain has affected all of that. In the last few months, as the need keeps growing, we needed another vehicle to rent. And we couldn't get a vehicle to rent. It took us a month to get a rental 30-foot truck. You know, these vehicles don't even exist right now. And secondarily, we didn't have enough drivers to drive these trucks. And third, as we got to around Thanksgiving, our price on turkeys went from $12 to $18 a turkey. We went from distributing 5,000 turkeys last year to 9,000 this year. You do the math.
Shalom. Like to give all undergoing praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakudash, like give double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstone. Salutations to our sister Akim, pushing his word across the four corners of the world. And this is just a quick news update concerning biblical prophecies. And this is an article from activistpost.com, and the title says, shortages are getting worse as the global supply chain crisis enters an ominous new chapter. And this was published on December 22nd, 2021. Although the shortages were supposed to be gone by now, during the first half of 2021, the blind optimists were assuring us that by the end of the year, the pandemic would be over. Despite inflation will have proven to be transitory, the global supply chain crisis will resolve and the U.S. economy will be booming. Of course, the truth is that none of those things happen. In fact, overall conditions are even worse than they were 6 months ago. Now we are heading into 2022, and even the optimists are finding it difficult to say anything positive about the coming year. So you know, with this disruption within the global supply chain crisis that was caused by this so-called pandemic, which was all orchestrated by the left hand of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, beginning with the tabernacle of Edom, the higher ups that actually run this society and this world that was given to them by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And I always bring up this Edomite guy by the name of Klaus Schwab, and he's the founder of the World Economic Forum, and he stated a major quote, that the pandemic represents a rare but narrow window of opportunity to reflect, to reimagine, and reset our world. Roughly translating to this global reset, this new world order, which was all orchestrated by the left hand of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So this global supply chain crisis is causing a lot of impact upon millions of Americans, especially in this so-called holiday season, where a lot of these people are having high expectations that things will get back better, things will get back right, but they're just being fed with false hopes. So as it says right here, now we are heading into 2022, and even the optimists are finding it difficult to say anything positive about the coming year. And through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua on his right hand via the prophets, has been foretelling these people, along with our people as well, that these times that we're coming into is going to be some dark, gloomy, treacherous times. Which leads me to the book of Ephesians, the 5th chapter, starting at verse 15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, and we as the hopeful elect, we have been blessed with this illuminated light, which is referring to the true understanding of the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So we have those spiritual eyes that we can see, those spiritual ears that we can hear, and now through the spirit, we can be able to measure that times diligently in itself. We see what's going on with current news or current events, and we filter out with the Holy Scriptures, which is that measuring rod. So with that type of spiritual insight and wisdom, we have to walk circumspectly, check everything that's around us, be sober in the mind. As Yahweh always stated, watch. So it says, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. So 2/3 of our people in these other nations are considered as fools, meaning empty-headed. They are voided of the light of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, this true understanding of this gospel. Verse 16, redeeming the time because the days are evil. So you're supposed to be watching as well as praying and seeing what times that we are in. And as you can see, we are coming to the times of Jacob's trouble, a time that this world has never seen nor experienced before, which leads me right to the book of Ezekiel 2, verse 9. And when I looked, behold, a hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein. And that's referring to the Holy Scriptures, the Holy Bible. Verse 10, and he spread it before me, and it was written within and without, and there was written therein lamentations going into sorrows, and mourning and woe. So these people who are not spiritually in tune with Yahweh Bashim Shavil, having an understanding of this word, they are not expecting these times that's coming to this world. Lamentations, mourning, and woe. Deep sorrows, bitter cries, grieving. And that's what's coming to this place of America known as Babylon the Great. And what Yahweh Bashim Shah is doing, we see this global supply chain crisis that's taking effect on all these other countries around the world. And you see the type of draconian measures that they're going through. But that's not going to be compared to the measure that Yahweh Bashim Shah has set for this place, America. It's going to look like child's play compared to what's going on to those other countries right now. And a lot of these people, including 2/3 of our people, are not spiritually watching. So they're going to be taken off guard. Which leads me to the book of Jeremiah 49, verse 31. Arise, get you up unto the wealthy nation. And that's referring to America. This is considered as the wealthy nation upon the world that dwelleth without care. So a lot of these Americans are in that spirit of consolation, ease, comfort. They're totally clueless what's going on in the outside world, especially these other countries that are facing severe draconian measures, and not knowing that those type of effects that's happening on those other countries is going to be brought upon here, but in a very much intensified state. So it says, arise, get you up unto the wealthy nation that dwelleth without care, said the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, which have neither gates nor bars, which dwell alone. Verse 32, and their camels should be a booty, and a multitude of their cattle is spoil, and I will scatter into all winds them that are in the utmost corners, and I will bring their calamity from all sides thereof, said Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Linking right back up with Ezekiel, the 2nd chapter, how it says, how there was a book referring to the Holy Bible that was written within and without, lamentations, mourning, and woe. And that's what we've been prophesying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Every time when the Heavenly Father Yahweh orchestrates an empire to be taken down, he always sends out his messengers, referring to the holy prophets. And that's what we are doing in these latter days concerning America. So it's nothing new under the sun. So going back to the article, it says, what is 2022 going to look like if global supply chain problems continue to intensify? Not since World War II have we seen anything like the long-term shortages that we are now experiencing. And for many people, this has been deeply frustrating. And that reminds you of Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. How those that look out the windows be darkened, like all your hopes, your aspirations, your goals, your different objectives and resolutions that you have for this place is being dimmed now. It's being more expected on a low vibration. But you still have a lot of these Americans, including 2/3 of our people, are still having that inkling of hope for this society. They still are thinking that, well, maybe things might get better here. They're still trusting to this so-called system. And it says, for example, a lot of pet owners have been dealing with severe food shortages for months, and those shortages just seem to keep getting even worse. The following comes from a Wall Street Journal article entitled, "The Pet Food Shortage is Real and Owners Are Scrambling." So even the animals are going to catch it in these drastic times. And that type of effect that when these people go into these grocery stores and they see these empty shelves, that's going to lead to a lot of people become animalistic. And next thing you know, that's when cannibalism going to come. And these people are actually going to be eating their pets. So those are the type of draconian measures that's coming to this place, America. And it says right here, these shortages are not just limited to a few areas of the country. This is truly a nationwide phenomenon, and experts agree that it isn't going to end anytime soon. And all of this is fulfilling the prophecy in Isaiah the 19th chapter, how it says this is the burden of Egypt. And Egypt is a spiritual code name for America. So that burden is referencing to these people's anxiety, that pressure and weight that's upon their shoulders. So this global supply chain crisis that's taking a whole lot of impact upon millions of these Americans. And these Americans have a lot of responsibilities. So these false hopes and empty promises that they are receiving from these different government officials is going to agitate them more and more. And that's when we're going to see prophecies like this mentioned in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter and the 16th verse. For there should be sedition among men and invading one another, meaning uproars, agitation, rebellions upon these different government officials. They should not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions should stand in their power. So these Americans keep getting fed with these false hopes, these empty promises, And right here, an article from News Target, just to read the headline, says global supply chain crisis expected to last another 2 years. So these different government officials keep shifting the goalposts in the middle of the game. And you still have a lot of these Americans that are having high expectations for things to get better here in America. So it's like you're playing with them. And that makes me think about this movie, A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, which came out in 1996, starring Martin Lawrence. His character, Darnell, he met this older, successful businesswoman. And, you know, she was playing hard to get at first. Then he started running game to her, started telling her that he loved her, that he got in her head, and she had emotions for him. And the next thing you know, she found out that he was playing, he was lying. It was all a game and a joke to him. So she became crazy and delusional. She was trying to kill him. So how much more of these people or these Americans who have spiritually invested into this place, who have put their emotions into the words of these government officials, they're going to come at their local authorities with much violence, agitation, and force. So these are the times we are in, as it says, uproars of the people. We see these prophecies are taking place around the world, but Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, he's saving the best for last, and that's America. That leads me to the book of Psalm 140, verse 1. Deliver me, O Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man. And you already know by spiritual default, that's referencing to the tabernacle of Edom. They are the ones that are responsible for causing damage and destruction around the whole world. And it's taking effect upon a lot of these inhabitants of the world. That's why these people are totally bugged out. That's not in the righteous vibration of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Verse 2, which imagine mischiefs in their heart, meaning all types of ill doings, violence, being destructive. And that's by the ways of their legislations, their economic warfare, how they are poisoning this earth, how majority of these inhabitants of the world are on a moral decline. So it says, which imagine mischiefs in their heart, continually are they gathered together for war. And that's where you get that Latin term or that Freemasonry quote by the name of order al chaos, or order out of chaos, meaning that the elites of Esau Edom, they stage these different events. They engineer all these different catastrophes that's happening around the world, hence this so-called pandemic, to reach and achieve a certain objective. Then that particular situation will be engineered by order. And what's that true order that they are trying to bring upon this world? That new world order, this global transformation, this global reset. That all the higher ups of Esau Edom, along with their counterparts, these other nations, and also these lesser luminaries, they are all in tune with the image of the beast. Verse 3, they have sharpened their tongues like a serpent. So anything dealing with a serpent is cunning, it's crafty, it has a lot of schemes and plots. So with this particular serpent referencing to Esau Edom, it's a poisonous serpent. So the ones of our people and also these Americans that actually trust into this place, that serpent is going to bite them back for you actually trusting into this serpent. And it says adder's poison is under their lips. And that goes into the ways of their smooth, enticing speeches. Their democracy, which is going to that Babylonian wine, is poisonous. So concerning this global supply chain crisis that has impacted millions of these Americans, you know, with the food insecurities, with these food organizations that actually supply the food, even they're being troubled right now. You have this energy and fuel crisis. Like, it's all types of calamities and plagues that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is utilizing his left hand, Esau Edom, to bring upon this place, to bring much pressure and anxiety upon these Americans. And that's beautiful to see to us as the hopeful elect, that these Americans are suffering like this. Because a lot of these Americans are very prideful. America itself has exalted itself with nothing but pride. And that's something that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua look as an abomination. So it's good to see that these things are taking place upon America and more so upon these Americans, because the mass majority of these people dwell it without care. So now they're being in tune with things of these draconian measures that are being brought upon this place. Now some of their eyes are being open and they're being fearful. So when we see these things that's taking place around the world, and we know that Yahushua, he's on his way back. So this is Luke 21 verse 28. And when these things begin to come to pass, meaning all the prophecies that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua put upon his holy prophets to prophesy that was going to happen within these latter days, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. meaning our salvation, which is going to the divine deliverance that Yahushua is going to come back for his hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. Because when Yahushua comes back, it's stated that he's going to come with healing in his wings. So pretty soon we will no longer have to suffer and witness all the wickedness that's being taken place upon this earth. So that's exhortation through the Spirit. Linking up with Matthew, the 13th chapter and the 17th verse, how many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see and have not seen them. So the prophets of old were hastening the coming of Yahushua. They were looking forward to Yahushua setting the kingdom of heaven upon the earth at that particular time frame. So fast forward to nowadays, our brothers out, we are those same men coming back in the process called reincarnation. So how much more now should we be in that spirit of desire to see all the biblical prophecies unfold right in front of our very own eyes? All these miraculous signs taking place upon this whole earth. So that's why the scriptures say, continue in prayer and watch. So our brothers out, you always edified with it. You all stay strong, keep pushing forward. Shalom.
Food is essential. We eat food every day. And if your Christmas gifts are still in their container, that's a problem, and you will eventually get them. But if you don't have something to eat every day, that is a catastrophe.
How are you?
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Do you want fish or do you want turkey?
Fish.
Fish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like meats, like dairies, and the meats are so expensive now. I can't afford those meats. And like you go into a lot of stores, many people just wipe out the supplies, and it's just where do you go after that? And then a lot of the stores in the neighborhood, the foods are not fresh. Where do you go to? What do you do? So basically, I just stay in prayer.
We partnered with another emergency food pantry. Just instead of each of us driving our own trucks to pick up food, we share trucks, we share staff. We have to do things in unison because that'll help us deal with staffing problems, vehicle problems, making sure we're all getting the products we need. We have to collaborate more. And what's going to come out of this is we need to transform how we do business. And when I say business, I mean how we feed people, how we clothe people, how we educate people. It's all going to have to change because the supply chain is much more disruptive a force than we ever thought possible.